great nation. Free and we stand under the flag of our Zambia. Praise to thee, strong, free.
Thank you for the president of the government. Thank you for everyone for today to allow you. We ask for the protection as for our leaders state, and we ask that you
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. As we get into the heart of our meeting, just a few housekeeping for all of us to observe so that we can work our schedule that is given to us also. We request that all phones be left on silent or be switched off so that we have fewer distractions as we possibly can. Then we also make sure that all our masks are fully on. We are still dealing with the pandemic causes that on the state farmers. Also, for due to other training commitments from the president, we shall ensure and we must ensure that we go through our city within a period of 1 hour. That is really important. We need to put that to mind as we go on with our engagement. There will be a total of 7 questions that are going to be asked, and these questions are going to come through the various representatives of the different North American cultures that are here. And those representatives are going to very important and also to respond to them. Please let's ensure that there are no unintended or intended discussions. We must respect the space of those who the responsibility very questions for and on behalf of all of us. At the end of the question, let us maintain optimum time. At this point time, as I mentioned, allow me to welcome especially the ambassador of Amber, who's going to deliver his opening remarks on
Master of Ceremonies, Your Excellency, Mr. President, my task today is very simple. My task today is very simple. This is part of the Zambian community in the United States. We are being seen right now across the world, and these events are being seen, so we are joined by other members of the community in different states. The President has been here, as you know, since Wednesday, and we have had a very, very good program. So we are very grateful, Mr. President, that you still have found time to intermingle with us. And I'm sure the audience will go are anxious to hear from you. So I would like to invite Your Excellency to make some remarks to the community, after which some questions will be following from the various leaders of the community. Mr. President.
President, thank you very much, Ambassador Kapambwe, because we're the virtual platform as well. Can you hear me? Because we have a virtual platform as well. If you allow me to speak, if you allow me to speak while seated, if that's okay with you. Thank you very much. Good afternoon once more. It's nice to be here. It's nice to be in Washington, but more nicer, if you like, to be with you as fellow citizens, citizens of our great country, Zambia. And I believe that today we will have some decent conversation, and along the way, hopefully get a few things clearer so we can work together to deliver our country, from squalor, from the deleterious economy that we have, to one which will offer opportunities for all our people, including yourselves, you, the 11th province of the We're delighted that the people of Zambia delivered us into this role, delivered us to manage their public affairs. And they did so under extremely difficult conditions. I mean, there was no democratic space at all. I think you all know. I don't have to reiterate what you know. But the people of Zambia took a decision, and decision in a dramatic way, in a way that makes me proud that we won this election. The votes came from all the provinces of Zambia. We're extremely humbled by that, because the voters, especially the young people, demonstrated that they will not tolerate divisive behavior anymore. They will not tolerate isms anymore. They wanted to see a leadership that will reunite the country. And here we are. And we intend to do just that. For them, for you, for everybody. But more importantly, I'll delve into that a little bit. More importantly, to turn around the economy. That's a ticket we were given, a ticket given to us to take this leadership role, reunite the country, rebuild the country's economy. That's a ticket. That's the issue. And with a resuscitated economy, the people of Zambia expect us to deliver social benefits, look after the weak, look after the sick, look after the orphans, look after the retirees, look after those that live with disabilities. But we understand the equation very well. I like that expression. You cannot support the weak with a deliric economy. You cannot provide opportunities for jobs when the economy is dysfunctional. We are very conscious of what should take the lead. The lead must be driven from the economic side. We appreciate you and thank you for your support. We know that there are times you felt neglected. We know that. But days of neglect are over. They are over. I repeat, we appreciate you. Many of you did a lot in influencing voters back home. You did that amidst an environment of intimidation. If you worked for a government institution, you worked for an embassy, you had to find a hole to hide. Probably you didn't talk. If you talked, you're gone. Freedom is here. Going forward, you'll be free to talk. Those are your fundamental rights. But we also know that we'll talk, we'll dialogue to help the country come out of its difficulties. Many of you, some of you, let me change that. Some of you traveled home. I see a few faces, traveled home to come and work. Thank you very much. It's not our victory. It is your victory. It is the people's victory. It is the young people's victory. We should be so proud of our young population. I must be honest with you. If I don't say it, I think I'll be unfair to myself and to yourself. One of the many lessons that I would like to single out that this election brought out and has rewritten history, at least recent history in our country, is that young people refused to follow ethnicity as a basis for voting for a leader. We had a lot of hegemonists who campaigned on ethnic lines. We should be proud, very proud. I'm very proud. You should be proud that even in towns they called hometowns, they were defeated. I believe we must take a cue from the young people that nothing should divide us going forward. We may have our debates, we may see things from a different angle, but we see the same thing. It's just that we are looking from different sides. But it's the same thing. What is that? Our country. To drive our country where it should be, to take its place at the global stage. And I think in the last 1 week, I believe you're proud of the little that we've been able to do. This country can do better. We should raise the bar. Conduct in public office, we should raise the bar so that mediocrity becomes a rare thing rather than the way it's been pronounced as a norm. We intend to do something that was almost lost in the last years, couple of years. And I was able to correct a message or tagline that was given at the inauguration at the stadium. It was supposed to be called the transfer of power, change of power. I said, no, power belongs to people. This is a change of leadership for service. It's not power, it's not transfer of power. Power belongs to people. And we must save our people, we must save you, you must save others. If you are in a public office like my brother here, ambassador, save the people. We must save the people. We should save you. And we should save and we will save you better. We're inheriting a very difficult situation, but we'll be aggressive about turning around things. We may brush your shoulder a little bit rougher. You must excuse us in advance. Because we just want things to try. Zambians deserve better. We're here to listen to you. We are here to share your experiences. May not be today, tonight, but we're here to utilize your networks. We're here not to reinvent the wheel, but to benefit from that which you know, that which others know, so we can serve our people better. I think at this stage, I must hand over to the Director of Ceremonies so he can guide us how we proceed. I guess when I come back, when he allows me, I think after your presentations, I don't know how you planned it, I will come back and emphasize a few more things, especially things that may affect you or do affect you, and how we intend to make service delivery to you much better. Thank you very much. Before I hand over, can I abuse you a little bit? Have you done the introductions already? Not yet. I suggest that we at the so-called top table, who we are seated on this table, introduce ourselves quickly. It's also nice to hear the voices of people. So I won't be the spokesperson to these people. They will introduce themselves. They start on my far right, and then we jump to my far left and end up with the colleague next to me on my left.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, I am Dr. National Principal Writer. Good afternoon, I'm Dr. Ambassador of the United States. Good day to you all. I'm Captain Stanley, I'm a part of the team and foreign affairs.
Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Tumbeko Sokotwane. I am the Minister of Finance.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for the questions, and thank you again for those introductions. As a matter of progress, before we step into the main question and answer session, I will very briefly make one for the representative of the non-American caucus. Just a few words to Mr. President before the rest of the team send into the question and answer session. Mr. President, you have time. thank God for this rare opportunity. I recognize the members in front of me, Mr. Bradford, Your Excellency, Ambassador Lazarus Congress, Mr. Kakumo, and Mr. Simon. Thank you for this opportunity. It is a rare opportunity for all of us here, despite the circumstances that we're in the pandemic, you've been able to allow us to be in your presence. So we do appreciate the opportunity. And without further going into what I'm here to say on behalf of the people that are in the United States, being the president for all the community associations, without forgetting organizations of Zambia, above, also, who are able to raise over $20,000 last year to help with the community during the pandemic that we are still in. I'm also leading the Zambian Association Network of all the associations, and also my colleagues that I do as my presidents as well. But we do have a number of individuals that are not able to make it this afternoon, and we send the congratulations to each other. The Global Alliance, which is led by Dr. Joseph Lukona, and of course, not forgetting the clergy that has been with us throughout this journey of our community, through the funerals and through the events that we have. And we appreciate this opportunity to serve. What I would like to begin with is to mention the many things that we appreciate about the opportunities that we have come to the United States, with the experts that we have within the communities that are across the United States of the Zambian population. We have experts that are ready to serve. We have individuals in technology, in healthcare, in different industries that I believe, and we all believe, could be part of an ad hoc group that can help our counterparts in Zambia to ensure that we be able to provide the experts to them. In addition to that, we believe it's a great opportunity for us to be able to have a direct contact to the President's office in order for us to be able to provide our constant feedback on how we are progressing here, and the experts here, how they can contribute towards the economic, the industrial, the political, the social platforms that you are willing to create through your administration. Your Excellency, despite not having all the Zambian leaders after there are many thousands of Zambians that are ready to be here in over 300. And they are proud of you and your administration, and we're looking forward to this new dawn, and we're ready to be part of this new dawn to ensure that we are the reality of the lesser province that you mentioned earlier. With that being said, we would ask that we would be allowed to be part of the process on how we can become water eligible citizens of God. In your earlier statement, that would allow to increase value to maintain democracy. As you have stated, it is something that you were able to keep and maintain, and now it is something we can pursue to celebrate. So, Mr. President, Your Excellency, it is an honor and a great opportunity for all of us to know that we have a brighter future. We're able to continue our democracy that was fought hard by many forefathers, and we ask you for this great opportunity to be able to improve our systems, including into the embassy. We have a children here that we want them to be recognized as non-individuals. We have individuals, our elders, that have been here for a long time and are looking for opportunities to be able to either review their visas and passports, including the national other registrations. allowing us to be able to improve our embassy website, to be able to submit electronic documents in order to ensure that the fast process, so that individuals are not waiting for 6 months or 2 years or whichever timeline. I believe this will help our individuals to be able to strengthen themselves, encourage their peers, to give back to our country even more. I understand I may have taken a little bit of time, and I thank you for the opportunity. I will use as well. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Frederick, for that introductory engagement. As a matter of speaking, we are going to request that the different representatives of the various North American offices, whose names have been put forward, to ask questions more on behalf of all of us. Please be prepared as a matter of fact coming round as we speak that question. At this particular moment in time, I am going to make way for Stella to speak with your initial engagement. I apologize. I have just been corrected. Right to say that this is better. Yeah, the one thing. Thank you, my brother. My name is Alvin. I'm the president of the Association of Zambians. Thank you very much for this opportunity. So one of the questions that comes up very often from our audience is, what is your plan to address the lack of access or limited access to water, electricity in Zambia, and what is your timeline to ensure that everyone back home has access to water? So what's going to happen is essentially that once the first question has been asked, I will gather that the man is probably passed on to the next person. Can we also have this kind of pattern of this kind of things? Yes. And once we have this, we can hand the microphone in that.
Good day to you, sir. Nice to see you here, and thank you so much for to come and talk to you. My name is Stella Petino. I'm the president of Zambia, Delaware of Zambia. My question to you, family, how do you want to get no system for Zambia so that we can use our economy to be stronger than it is right now? Thank you. Your Excellency, Morishani, thank you so very much for this opportunity. I am honored to be in your presence and distinguished guests. My name is Weston, otherwise known by my government name, Wenga Michelle Kim. I am third generation granddaughter of the late Sister Africana, and from a young childhood, I've been interested in politics. So it's inevitable that I'm going to be the first female president of our association in Maryland and Virginia. Your Excellency, from a young childhood, what I did know was the importance of retiring to be able to get their money after they serve our nation. I saw this with my grandfather and was concerned looking at the situation with the tax regime of what happens when retirees cannot be used to what they work for. Second part of my question was, in the same line, what is the plan for us to improve our youth to encourage them to use their talents? Besides just encouraging college, people have different talents, as most of us do. So we would like to know what the plan is forward for our youth who were very much responsible for placing you in office. I do thank you all for your time. God bless you.
Thank you. Mr. Akashambo, then Ms. Manuel, and then Ms. Maria Sonda. And then after that, I think I will make it for Mr. President to engage those questions, and then we'll move on to the second part of our question and answer session. So Mr. Akashambo, Ms. Manuel, and then Ms. Maria Sonda, and then Mr. President. President, there's some conversations on the election and the victory. My name is Masheda Kashamba. I'm the Secretary General of Organization of Zambian Order and also another big supporter of the election. My question Excellency, my question is to the first part is on economics. We have carried out this survey that it is said that on average, Zambia has $8,000 savings account. My question is, when the government deregulated some of the security impediments that we have in opening bank accounts, dollar accounts in Zambian Diaspora. As it stands today, I have to travel physically to Zambia to open a savings account at Sanako in Zambia. I have to be there physically. So with this government, I'll try my second part is that what are some of the incentives that your government plans to put in place for the diaspora community to invest back home, bring back equipment, and do technological transfer that can leverage. Thank you. After the start area, after the semester, I'm able to competitors.
Yes, and my name is Nadia.
May you repeat your name, please? I couldn't get it. Sorry?
Nadia.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So the president of community in Zambian in North South Carolina, also the and I'm commissioner on the Zambian Association. So today, I would like to know where we can come to help the government in addressing issues of corruption. My view is about corruption. And we understand that the center would like to know how we can help with that. The other thing is in the hospital, we are being, well, our families are supposed to be everything together. How can we help and how can the Zambian government make way for that to improve? Because it is the thing that everyone needs to do.
Right, thank you very much. I will ask my colleagues I'm seated with, especially the two on my left, the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, to chip in where they feel like, or I may actually request them to take a question, a whole question or comment themselves. Access to water, electricity, what's the plan? First and foremost, to be honest, water is a health issue. Water is a food issue. Water is everything. Water is life. Having said that, your government, your administration is committed to delivering clean drinking water, is committed to delivering, for lack of a better word, access to water for agricultural production. Very important. And we want to make sure that even with a depressed economy, our first budget, I had a chat with the Minister of Finance that we will look at moving money as much as we can, taking away certain applications of money from certain sectors, especially those sectors where corruption is most rife, like infrastructure. We want to take money away from those areas and redirect it to the localities where people live. Let me illustrate a little bit. We've set our eyes on a couple of areas where money is being wasted in our country. One is pure procurement. Number two, thank you. You are free to clap if you wish to. So, number two is fertilizer procurement, farming inputs. Just to give you an idea, for years, people have wrecked so much cash from this sector without a compensating improvement in the agriculture sector. Fertilizer has been procured, some cases at prices as high as $1,100 per ton. What I mean. The third area, amongst many, is road construction. Where you know that sometimes the famous road I like referring to, 340-kilometer road, Lusaka-Ndola, somewhere around there, a contract was let for $1.2 billion, when really that road should be done around 300 million, maximum $400 million. So the money goes out straight. Now, so let me add another area, which is just general procurement in the public service. Public service, central government, local government, quasi-government, parastatus. Hear me out a little bit. Where things are overpriced. A pen that should cost 2 kwacha is bought at 20 kwacha. A borehole which should be sunk at 20,000 kwacha, and I'm a farm, I'm a village. I sink boreholes on my own little farms and for my village folks. It's a hobby. I do it in and out all the time. A borehole costs 20,000 kwacha, and I'm illustrating on this so we can deal with some of the questions below. I can see some linkages here. A borehole whose true cost is 20,000 kwacha for a 60-meter borehole Any borehole being dug in government, you and us pay 60,000 kwacha. Now, those days are over. Those days are over. So we have guided public service through cabinet office immediately. This is what I call low-hanging fruit. That will procure goods and services plus works, they told me, in public sector on three principles, three factors. One, right cost, right price. Number two, quality delivery. Number three, timely delivery. Epela, Indita. Kuperile. Wasira banana. Imbuvo. Now, I can see you know what I mean and where I'm going. The memo has gone out already because in government, I haven't worked for government myself, and a lot of people thought that was a weakness. I actually see it as a very fundamental strength to walk away from bad habits, which has taken money away from taxpayers. So the Secretary of the Cabinet has already done a memo over these issues, and this memo will translate, in some cases, changing the laws, applicable laws, changing procurement procedure, changing regulations. I've said enough. From here, these four areas, generally, they're connected. In fact, they are all purchasing. They're all around purchasing. We believe will create some savings. Any business person knows that you have two sides. This is your expenditure, this is your revenue. If you want to create money, you have to push your revenue up. Then you have a gap. Maybe this could be your money. You can't push your revenue immediately, you push your cost down. That creates some gap, that's your money. This gap will create from pushing the cost down, driven by civic, simple civic. It's not even corruption. This is petty civic, but the numbers are huge. Then we can create savings and push those savings into provision of water. That's part of the realignment we're doing, and making energy available to our people. We don't have time, so I will not be taking too long to illustrate you all knowledgeable people. So from savings, we'll move money to where it's needed most, which is water, which is electricity. Electricity, energy, is not just to be connected to the grid, but we're looking at off-grid solutions, solar, for example. You are aware we set up a green economy ministry. This is it, solar. So no woman, no auntie, no cousin, no wife, no grandmother has to walk 5 + 5 kilometers every day. You've heard me say that. 5 kilometers to the water point, 5 kilometers back to the home, 20 liters of water on the head, firewood on the shoulder, a child, an infant at the back. The other infant, 2 years, is dragging her dress. As she is moving forward, the child wants to catch up and drags the dress backwards. Drag weight. We're determined to make a dent in that area. I'm glad it's the first question you asked. It won't be done in one day. It will be done over time. Our sites are set very clear to make water, clean water, available to our people, close to their homes. I will bore you a bit, and I will not explain other things as I'm explaining this one. Just a simple, right price borehole, 20,000 kwacha. Tank stand, 6 meters. Tank, plastic tank, 5,000 liters, solar pump. We want to make solar affordable. All of a sudden, this African Zambian woman doesn't have to walk such a long distance every day. It's dehumanizing. She has water piped. She has a shower. Surprise, surprise. She has a flush toilet. I know what I'm talking about. I do it every day. Now that God has allowed us through you to put us in this office, we shall do it. We shall do it. So, electricity is a little bit more complex, but we'll work towards making it affordable. And if you add a solar pump to a light in the home, my village home, your village home, you don't have to be in the village. Your relatives are there. It means you are there. All of a sudden, a child in the rural area has also lighting to study, and she starts performing, that girl child starts performing better in school. This is what this government wants. So we've spoken a lot with the minister. This is the longest illustration I will give in this interview or this conversation because it's fundamental. Disease burden goes down. She can produce vegetables 12 months a year and many other things. Just this minimum investment. The solar mix is very important. Sorry, electricity mix is very important. I know we've coal back home. We don't want to push more power stations out of coal. We want renewable energy. I heard one of the questions talking about skills, knowledge here. We want your skills. How we deliver a better energy mix at affordable prices. Together we'll do it. Stella, Madam Stella. Stella Banda from Delaware. Oh, Philadelphia, not Delaware. Thank you. Maybe I wished you to come from there because that's where President Biden comes from. I see. Congratulations. How do we... By the way, this water and electricity will promote a lot of private sector investment here. A lot of them. The treasury is empty, as you know. So there's a lot of initiatives we are going to push to allow investment in water and energy, electricity. So we want to be an energy surplus country. The region is in an energy deficit. How do we Zambians contribute? Am I right? How do you contribute? You already started. First, just this interaction. The two will make it easy for you to contribute. You, the 11 folks, just the mindset of this government is different from the previous ones, where we don't ridicule because you're here. We see you as an asset. Just that different way of seeing you being here. You're an asset, you have skills, you have different connections. So we want those to work. So soon we'll be rolling out ways and means how you can contribute to improving our country's economy and welfare. I was going to say a few things here, but maybe I should pick it now so I don't have to go back to it. A platform for you to invest back home easier will be rolled out in liaison with yourselves, because you know what you wanted to do and you couldn't do it because there was rigidity on the Zambian government side. So we'll have a common checklist to make it easier for you to access what you want to access for. More importantly, to change you from a mentality of monthly salary only. I'm not discouraging monthly salary, but to also share with you, help you. You can be an investor. You should be an investor, right? People make a mistake. It's not that you can only be an investor when you have money. Nobody was born with money. Nobody. It's the ideas. It's the ideas. It's the networking. If you use your networking properly, and you have a government home that helps you to maybe clarify your thinking, how you can do it. We do this, what you feel, what we know, what you know, what we know, and what we desire for the country. We pull it together, common checklist, we run on with it. For example, we want to make it easier for you to access land. It's a basic thing, land at home. The corruption that is there now in the process of acquiring land is unacceptable. And we'll be dismantling that much earlier before you even think of it. Including the time it takes for you to get a title deed. The Minister of Finance and I have been talking over and over and over. Now that the ministers are in place, we are working on what we call a checklist of what each ministry must do. Remember, please have access to our inaugural speech, our speech at the opening of Parliament. I encourage you to look at, especially the speech at the opening of Parliament. It will give you pointers to some of the things you're raising here. Please accept that. Is it difficult, Ambassador? Can't we make that available to our people? We can make it available. Maybe that's maybe that's the first difference we can deliver to these people, by making that speech available to them much easier. Then you can see, I don't have to belabor explaining it. You can see where we are going. The land is one, access to it, getting your title deed much quicker within a defined time. For example, title, you apply for title, you fulfilled all the requirements, we will have a covering sheet that says, this title shall be issued within 15 or 30 days from today. We want to improve our engagement with you. I may as well just deal with these issues, not to pretend. I mean, then it may need some questions in the back, right? We want to improve the way we engage with you, the embassies. These are your offices. I was reading what you were posting. I like checking what people are saying. I was reading what you were saying. So we don't have to gun for each other. There is no reason to gun for each. I understand where you're coming from. I understand that the environment is toxic just 30, 40 days ago. I understand. But the environment has changed. You go talk to your colleagues home. 40 days ago, no woman who is known to be UPND could go to Lusaka intercity bus. You are dead meat. Kids were undressed, women. But we just issued a statement. We did not even send the police. I just provided leadership. This is what has been lacking in our country. Just leadership. And you can go to a bus stop now. It doesn't matter. Even PF, they are lucky that UPND won this election. Just flip the page. Let's assume PF had won this election. What do you think they can do? So anyway, freedom. A lot of your colleagues home are dubbing this win as Freedom Day, as New Dawn. So even the relationships with the embassy is going to change, I can assure you. Foreign Affairs Minister is here, the Minister of Finance is here. So by making things easier, but don't over celebrate. Don't look at him and see him as your enemy. It is the superstructure on top of him that was the problem. So we're not here to drive hatred. No. We are here to open things for you and you for us. So you for us, we for you, we together for the people. Everybody's saying, HH is too slow. Why hasn't he fired this one, that one? We are methodical. We are organized. And you will see that level of organization in a few months down the road. Even the global community is feeling that organization already. Let's engage differently. So, better relationships at point of contact, embassies, reorientation of our colleagues in the embassies, those that will continue, some will not continue, obviously. The issues of you accessing home passports, because somebody has raised, let me just deal with some of these things in a generic way. Passports, renewals, NRCs, other government documentation, we will agree standards. Because those are the ones that may allow you to, when you want to come home, to bring investors, right? It's easy. In fact, you will find that a little bit greedy will be asking you to do things you may not be doing. Because you should find investors. You can't live in New York for 10 years, Washington for 10 years, Seattle for 10 years, and you don't know any investor that you can encourage to come. But who is that investor first? It is you. So, I think with this platform, effective consular services, connections back to the ministries, we're working through now business process, all time, it used to be called business process reengineering, all time. I don't know what you call it now. It doesn't matter to me. I come from a different culture. I don't believe in working hours. I don't believe in long reports. I believe in deliverables. That's all. So we'll work out something together with your inputs, something that makes it easier for you to work. I have asked other colleagues, not his department, another department, to engage with some of you. You may not even know that they're the ones I've asked. But since you have structures, you have leadership structures, I ask your leaders, you who have been speaking already, to get together. Can you work together? America is a big place, US is a big place. This time, can you work together to isolate, to work out a common checklist of the things that have been bothering you? Column 1. Column 3, who should effect those remedies? Column 4, when? The last column will be status, so that we can use that ambassador as an action plan, action list, but also as a progress report. Nothing leaves that list. Once we've dealt with that item, we just enter done or completed. Then when we meet like this next time, I would like us to use that action plan as the basis of our meeting. I think that's a different way of working. Madam Stella, you've asked that important question. Bring us solar investors in solar. Bring them. If you don't know how to deal with them, at least tell us that one. We know how to deal with them. Right. Retirees. Very sympathetic to that subject. I think you heard me at the beginning. I said the equation is that this side is economic transformation, this side is social support. Actually, directly he talked about retirees, the weak, the sick, the retirees. We have to deal with that issue. It's a huge ticket because it's not been serviced properly, including arguments on retirement age. There have been arguments on retirement age and certain things. Have they lost connection there? Someone can check that. So, madam, that is very important. People should not die before they access their money. They've worked for it. But if corruption is rampant, money is stolen through fuel, roads, fertilizer, procurement, you can't pay retirees. So we'll be working on those issues. But it's a mountain to dismantle because the areas are huge, but we'll be working on that. The youth. Well, we have to wait for the youth. All of us must work for the youth. They delivered this government. They were courageous. They were fearless. But there are few fundamentals, few basics. We have to give them skills, education. And I get surprised people post on these platforms that HH overpromised. And I read a little bit and say, oh, HH overpromised education. How is he going to deliver education? I can't believe it. Somebody who went to school through support of others can question why others should receive support. It's not overpromising. It's a barest minimum. Which one of you will have gotten on a ticket to come to America if you didn't go to school? Which one of you here? Me, I know I would have been in a village with 10 wives if I didn't go to school. I would have been looking after cattle. I am here in this role as your servant number one only because of education. I'm honest. So, education for all is not overpromising. It's the barest minimum. It's like water. Water is now a human right. Education is a human right. The question should be, what mechanisms should we put together to accelerate access to education by all? At the opening of Parliament, I said, we will be discriminatory. HH's children, finance minister's children don't need to be on a government bursary. They don't need to be on a government loan scheme. We were on a government loan scheme. We were on a bursary. We must pension our children off that bursary because we got the bursary. We at least were kind, God has been kind to us, allowed us to work reasonably. You know, I'm always careful what I say about myself because it gets misunderstood. But at least God was kind enough that we have a little bit excess. Our children must not be the ones getting government bursaries. Today you go to bursaries. Ministers' children are the ones getting bursaries. Poor people's children don't have bursaries. That's what we want to deal with. But if my child can go to school on account of the parent who got a bursary is now able to afford, it leaves space for an orphan to have a bursary. That's it. That is it. That is the principle, education for all. Supporting those who need support most. Not those who drive big cars are the ones whose children are on bursary. No. You will see we'll be quite tough on those issues. But also we want other combinations, getting our children to school, skills, the right skills, curricula. We want young guys to work for themselves at an early age. So skills, jobs, business opportunities. We will be looking at the procurement laws. I said it already. We want to put procurement laws and regulations that favor youth and women in the procurement chain. Deliberately. Earlier we were talking of water. We are shifting money from the center where the big thieves are in Lusaka, and the big thieves are in Lusaka, yes. I have no shame in saying big thieves are in, and take it to constituencies who enhance constituency development funds. Remember I was talking of savings. Minister, am I allowed to mention the figure or not? Since the budget is not done yet. No. Very good. Thank you. So there will be, he's cautioning me. I appreciate that. There will be a fundamental shift of resource allocation from the center in Lusaka through devolution to the constituencies, so that constituencies can budget. First time in the history of our country, we don't do it this year, for the time next year, every constituency will have an annual budget. Local priorities for spend, local priorities, contracts for those goods and services will go to the youth and the women companies in those constituencies. Guidelines will be provided. Guidelines will be provided. By that shift alone, my dear colleagues, we'll be able to make business opportunities available for the young in their localities. The curricula also must change to allow them to be able to handle those opportunities, plus contracts, contract management, collateral management, hand-holding. I call it hand-holding myself. So I'm answering even a few more questions around this issue. So we will devolution will be made to work starting this year. We don't have time to waste. And we'll do it better next year because we'll have more time. And also we'll have realigned a few things such as the debt. So the debt is choking a lot of our resources for development. As you know, two elements in the budget: tax allowance share, debt service, debt related. If I say service, maybe someone will think, what about amortization? So debt, amortization plus service. And then public sector pay. Then you have no money for investment expenses. Finished. We will not continue like that. So we want to make sure that money somehow, a big job we have to restructure the debt. It's a huge, huge mountain. A lot of carelessness went into acquiring that debt, a lot of it. I couldn't believe what people can do, the damage they can do in just 10 years. And some of you here, you say, power to, we forgive you. If you knew what we've seen, you would pinch yourself for having said those things. But we'll do our best. So the youth are at the center of what we do. We care for them. We value them. We will support them. But they're impatient. I'm sure you're seeing social media. We haven't even done the budget. It's about the jobs. Where's the food? A budget in government is the instrument for generating revenue and directing expenditure. but we understand their anxiety. Because they believe in us, isn't it? It's a good sign. Mr. Gashambatu, Umashek. Right. Will government ease the opening of US dollars? Minister of Finance, you may want to deal with that. But I have an answer which is dramatic. Here the Minister of Finance. Opening of dollar accounts back home. by people in the diaspora. I think I heard you correctly, isn't it? Yeah. Then incentives for diaspora to invest, home, technology. Maybe you can take those two questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Greetings to all of you. Basically, the question that is raised on opening of dollar account. Of course, we always free to open dollar accounts in Zambia. Perhaps I think to focus on the question is how can we open that account particularly here in the United States of America, rather than us to travel all the way to Zambia. Most banks now in Zambia can open accounts from your home. However, I'm not very certain about the issue of opening foreign exchange accounts with one diaspora. So we'll take a note. Or I can say that it's going to happen because the requested speech to be solved. It will happen. Generally, I would say that already there is any suggestion that you want to make on how to improve your relationship with your partners, you not hesitate. I'm sure the president may think of opening a desk every office or even of one affair where there will be contact between yourself and directly with home. So I think you should focus on that. My friend here, sure, is no problem with that. On the incentives for you to invest from, I think there are a number of things that are running. There's been the issue of access to land. I know you get any of you. Take it up, because it's normally the first thing that investors, people in diaspora want to shelter at home. And I can imagine that then you may have lost money giving to brothers, others, so forth, so we deal with that. Beyond that, we are investment in the country. One of the requirements that is making is for them to put some of the shares to be available to Zambia, including those so that you can own something at home without the burden of having to manage it. Obviously, this is something that will be watching very, very carefully. It is something that we are going to do. The Minister of Foreign Affairs wants to say something about you and me.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. First of all, I'd like to start by saying that you also proud of yourself because the President is the effect in less than a month of his presidency. Now, saying that, from the way the discussion has gone so far, what we see is that our country is facing a lot of challenges. That goes without saying. We have come from a group of leaders that were spending money readily without any conscience. And we have to, the President's plan is to come up with, it's already come up with a robust recovery plan. But our challenges are not so much. We shall overcome together as government and you as the elected progress, the people back. We are in a privileged situation as a country. It was one of the prerequisites for us to come out from where we are. Is that we need a second type of leadership, inspirational leadership, committed leadership,
And you and me can see now that we have that abundance in the president. The commitment level that the president has shown will take us to the next level, but we must match it ourselves as these people. In fact, we must be these commitments. I saw from some of the answers that the president gave. I'd like to add that, like the president mentioned, the people that most supported are the youth, and everywhere it's gone, the issue of youth is coming. Now, when you look at the mix of the youth that voted the president, it's not a one-size-fits-all. And I'm happy to say that the directives that the president has already given, even at cabinet level, is pointing towards the young people of our country. The economy that is going to revive must absorb all of it. The grade 9 fallout, and every day, those who are especially able, everybody must see themselves in the economy that they need to come out. You see, like when the Minister of Finance eventually talks about some of the things that we see without talking figures, is that the president has already issued the directive that all young people in China must have access to education. The opposition now is here in our country, trying to abuse the president on that issue, and the vice president able handle it. And it is a serious thing when the president is it. You will notice that there is just a serious increase in the number of teachers, especially those that are located in the rural areas, because the young people we have in the country are not that only those in town. The president has come in with the village. Some of us who have the rare privilege to work with the president in the campaign, the things we saw there require that education follows our people in there. The president also mentioned just now to say that you will see in the structure of the state budget that there is money going directly into the village. That is transformation of our country. Because as long as we don't have a robust strategy, like the one that the system has spoken about, for rural infrastructure development, not what we saw under the years, where they borrowed to the tune of $20 billion, that means $2 billion in the national struggle. Those days are gone. The country must be now looking to us. I know a lot of questions are going to government, but when you look at the challenges that we have, the solutions must come more. I think the time to look at what the government do for you, rather than what shall we do for our country, has now come to an end. As I conclude, I just want to mention one thing that will help us look after our youth. This is something that the president has mentioned, and I would like us to repeat to you what he has said before. When you speak from the strategy that government, there are areas where development has to go there. And one area that comes from the president was the government of the council. There are jobs in there. A lot of our people are already involved in agriculture. And I can tell you one is one of the things that the president intends to push agency for our country is one subsector where everything is linked to agriculture. Things to do with growth. There's an opportunity that this administration has seen. When you come back in a few years' time, you will find that the president and his administration have revitalized the sector of clothing linked to agriculture. We produce the cotton of the country, but our clothing must not be imported anywhere. That's the president's message. And when you look at that balance, the president is seeing opportunities for young people to do. Because when we produce our own cotton in huge chunks, the president's strategy is that our youth in our country must be given opportunities to spare the cotton to the dinner. And after dinner, the president intends to produce growth for the country, the whole country, and young people must work in the factories in our country. And the message there is that as long as we don't have factories in our country, then there will be no jobs for young people. We need them to get it, and then our economy can break day and night. The relationship between the president and the youth is very significant, and it must be for all of us. One of the pronouncements that the president has given is that that thing that was taken away from the youth by the PA, the issue of government data, is easy to tackle. Yes, thank you. In the interim and administration to restore the rule of law. You will not be sorry. That's the mind of myself. This was the very first message, even before it was voted in power. The moment the president was sworn in, one of the executive decisions that was made, I'm sure is to deal with the issues of Catalan. That is due to the continuity of our country as well. The other thing that the president mentioned was to restore where the media also in our country. We message there is clear to the attention. You remember Prime TV? It was closed because of our and the person was off. Prime TV is not. That's for you to see the assessment. It is a criticism for us to go on. Restoration of the rule of law and power back to leadership so that the able to even decide the right of the life. The president is saying the media must get themselves, and that is key for our own democratic success. The fact that the president has chosen is that of democracy, and it must be good for us. It is good for our country. So that even those of us from the rare people who were in court when we are in the wrong, must be able to criticize the this is not what we want. That was exactly checks and balances in the government that we have to. I think I'll come back to the president.
Yeah, thank you. 2 minutes. Thank you. The 2 minutes is just to crown it all, because I suspect there will be a lot more questions if we don't clean up certain generic issues. So one of the things around foreign exchange, your accounts, I leave the minister's issues of technicalities. Let me be direct. The country needs foreign exchange. If you Zambians in the diaspora have it here, and you do have it, you want to bring it back home, we should be running as a government to accept that money. It only makes sense. The supply side of dollars improves. It helps to stabilize the exchange rate, especially if you are in an import-dependent economy. So I want to say to you, and the minister is here, it's an issue of how quickly do we resolve those matters. That money, we want it. We need it. We should facilitate you to open accounts. I think that's a more definitive one. Do a start on Egypt, do a start on India, do a start on Pakistan. Those countries receive a lot of remittances from their citizens. Ghana, Cameroon, Nigeria. We are actually late. So, Minister, maybe that's a task you must checklist. Immediately we return home, we must work on that issue. Please. You have a leadership now that understands finance issues, corporate finance issues, structuring transactions, understands what I think our colleagues who left were challenged with. I think we are better placed because of our background. let me tag on something on your investment. One of our things we want to do, the things we want to do is to lower the cost of the investments. It's too high. We want to cut the bureaucracy. Too many licenses. Takes too long to get one license. We will be aggressively dismantling those rigidities and make it easy to do business. We want a stable tax regime. Mining is a long-term business, but you should not be scared of it yourself. You don't have to have $10 million to be an investor in the mining sector. We're going to do something dramatic. Watch the space. We will allow Zambians to access licenses. We will assist Zambians to access license mining rights. Then there is your JV opportunity. You are a Zambian, you get a license, you don't have money, you can use that as your equity contribution to a joint venture. That's innovative. That will assist the youth, it will assist you, it will assist everyone. I'm widely traveled myself from a young age. Just imagine, a villager widely traveled. How is it that it's okay for Dubai to insist on local shareholding for businesses and it's not okay for Zambia? How is it? It has been the absence of leadership. That leadership is there now. It will happen. Mining, timber. How is it that timber licenses are going to foreigners and Zambians don't? We shall deal with that. I'm giving you a menu now that should help you answer some of your questions. I'm reading your question, right? I'm reading your question. So Zambians will have probably the right of first refusal to licenses in the extractive industry. We're not going to nationalize. Don't misunderstand. But new licenses must favor, issuance of new licenses must favor Zambians. Be innovative. Eat honey, and honey is flowing by the mouth. They can't take out the tongue. Just to take out the tongue. Be innovative. So is the case in timber. The youth, the women, you must access concessions in the timber. But we also want you, number 3, to value add. We want you to invest in value addition. We will change the procurement laws. I said it, maybe you didn't hear it properly. I see some colleagues may not connect to. We will favor, in the procurement of goods and services and goods, we will favor Zambians and Zambian companies. I see you don't get it. I can read your face, you don't get it. This is fundamental. This is a huge restructuring of the way things are done. You look at Botswana, one resource has changed the livelihoods of Botswana. Just diamonds. How did it happen? It's because the Botswana economy had leadership. The country had leadership to structure how diamonds are exploited there and how that benefits the local people and the investors. By the way, don't misunderstand me. Don't send the wrong signal to investors. Don't do that. If you do that, I'll correct it when they come and talk to us. Shared interest is what I'm talking about. The investor and the host country. Host country through the people. Pretty easy, isn't it? I say to investors, the best form of insurance policy against expropriation is having local partners. Then you can avoid some extremists talking of expropriation. nationalization, if I may use that term. So please, we work to lower the cost of doing business, ease of doing business, and consistency in the environment, investment environment. Because you ask, how easy will it be to invest? These are the issues. These are the issues. We want you to leverage on your network. I said already, earlier. Don't look at the company you work for just as your employers. You can look at them as your partners back home. You can encourage them to come home. Stability in the macro environment is a foregone conclusion. Not forgiven, it's a foregone conclusion. We have to stabilize the macro environment. I think ultimately, we'll embrace your solutions. There are many things you know better than us. Bring them. We'll embrace them. We may debate a bit so we can see the efficacy of what you're saying. Once we see the efficacy of what you're saying, we'll jump on them and we'll work together to actualize. It's a different mindset from those that have gone. We're not here to compete with you. That's what I saw in the previous government. They saw themselves like competitors with Zambia. No, we're not here to compete with you. We're here to serve you. It's a huge difference. I know that some people got ideas in the past government. Once the government saw those ideas, they shut the owners of the ideas and try to run on ideas themselves. So I think, colleagues, the sky is not the limit. It is you to limit yourselves. We'll elongate the distance to the sky so that you can do more and more. So let's work together. Corruption. My colleague from North Carolina, I think you've heard our message. I don't have to beat about the bush. Zero tolerance to corruption. Again, read our speech opening of Parliament. Please, read that speech. It will answer a lot of your questions here. Zero tolerance to corruption. I want to lighten the moment. When we were opening Parliament, I said zero tolerance to corruption. You see in Parliament, the way these colleagues sit, there's a side where it's UPND MPs, there's another side where it's opposition. Sometimes it's strange for PF to feel that to know that they are the opposition. You must remind them that they are the opposition. So the opposition sits somewhere. So I say zero tolerance to corruption for the obvious reasons. The side where the UPND MPs sit, there was here. Then I said, I'm not true. Zero tolerance to corruption. Past corruption. Again, the UPND side, here. I said, I'm not true. Past corruption, present corruption, future corruption. When I said the last bit, future corruption, the UPND side was quiet. The PF side was here. So it means we are fair people, isn't it? It means we're not selective. It means we're not vindictive. But we also say that we will not use a political hand in the fight against corruption. We will not drive vengeance, vindictiveness, retribution. We will allow the oversight institutions to fight corruption. They are legally mandated to do that. They should do it professionally. You've also heard me say, one of the things we put our foot down on immediately we took office, before even immediately we were declared winners. We said the way policing is done must change. No citizen should be arrested without an investigation. When citizens are arrested, they must be bonded, given bond at the police station. If not, they must be taken to court within 48 hours, as the law says. When they are taken to court, they must be given bail. Conditions must not be restricted. Human rights, isn't it? But some people misunderstood that to mean we will not fight corruption. Far from it. I mean, how can one fail to understand what we say? So the fight against corruption would take a professional angle, legal angle, but one thing that we want to commit to, we're already making a lot of progress, is to recover the assets as much as possible. To recover the assets so we can apply those assets, those revenues to the benefit of the owners. Education, health, investment opportunities, facilities for the youth and the women to access. At the end of our presentation in Parliament, both sides were almost at an equitable level of quietness. That is fairness. So we will not be driven by emotions. We have already made progress. I'm sure as we were leaving home, you knew that somebody was found with 65 million in the hands. That did not happen by chance. So asset recovery is an important ticket item. We will make corruption unattractive. We will make good behavior rewarded. Big difference. A lot of people misread this guy called HS completely, and I look at them and we're polite, but we are fair. But we are also professional. We don't want to be haphazard. We don't want to injure people wrongly. Accusations. I'm a victim of 15 detentions without committing any crime. Why would I then inflict the pain inflicted on me on others? Then I'm no better person. I don't occupy a higher ground. But when you take what doesn't belong to you, it will be returned to Caesar. I think our elaborate answers, the ministers and myself, thank you ministers, does cover quite a wide range of issues. It actually constitutes a presentation, and hopefully some questions are dealt with in advance. But also the list of questions I think that have been asked, other than the issue of healthcare service delivery, which we are passionate about, coronavirus pandemic. We've appointed the first advisor, coronavirus advisor is not here. Dr. Chileng is not here. He's not here. Right. It would have been nice to have the team here, Anthony Valley. When we have such presentations, we travel all the way to Washington. I prefer to have colleagues in the meeting. The days of coming to Washington for shopping are over. You can shop online, isn't it? You spend taxpayers' money so much shopping. We will also be prudent. I'm sure he was not just told. He's a decent man. I think he was not told. Maybe there was a miscommunication. He's a very decent man. We're very proud of him. He's our COVID advisor. And we've elevated this to State House level and give it due attention. Right. Just clarification. So, Dr. Chilengi is an expert in this area. Not COVID per se, but I think pandemics like this. And we believe he will discharge his duties to elevate this pandemic, and we want to bring it under control. We don't bring COVID under control, we have no chance on the revival of the economy. No chance at all. The resources will be utilized properly. Again, no thieving around COVID money. Oxygen must be there. Testing capabilities must be there. Masks must be there. And other things that science is dictating. But more important, the vaccine. I think you heard our message at the UN General Assembly, you heard our message at the World Bank, you heard our message at the IMF, you heard our message everywhere. That if we don't vaccinate Africa, the vaccinations here are meaningless, because Africa will become a host for new mutations. And it will come and bite the Americans and the Europeans. So we are saying, let's work together to deliver vaccines even for less developed countries like ourselves. But we have to work on resistance of some kind. When we return home, you will hear a bit more work we'll be doing on dealing with the resistance, hesitance in taking vaccines. It's not good. I think the story is being told about someone trying to clone you. I don't believe it. So please help us. In the way you helped us campaign and win the election, send a message back home that vaccines, at least science has told us they are safe. Who are we to say they are not? What alternatives do we have? We don't have alternatives. So you are very influential people. One of the things that we want to derive from you, maximum value, is your influence back home. Please help us in that area. As you do remittances, I'm sure your remittances are what people call tide aid. When you send remittances to families, you can also tell them that, please, you have to do these things. These are good things. I think those are those are useful things. Moderate, I think we are done really. And but the health sector is very important. Please, there's another area of investment we are looking for from you. The health services delivery. Some of you work in those areas. You know what coronavirus has done. Now, those who are not investing in the health sector cannot fly to India and South Africa and England anymore. Those jurisdictions don't want it. So there's a silver lining, sadly, around COVID. We have to improve our own health service delivery within our country. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, President. Thank you very much. President, all of you are presenting on comment in responding to our benefit. Many of the things that have been addressed. Another thing probably if you have for improve our attention, I will make very two quick questions that allow that this will be asked by Mr. Support and also Dr. David, remember and on the global Zambian healthcare. The president has also beyond education. We want to use that many of them may well have been addressed. It's an ongoing participation. We're not going to exhaust all of our concerns just today. We will encourage each other to continue engaging and questions and responses will continue to flow through our various channels of participation and open up to all of us and continue conversation. So I will make questions. Anton,
I like to do deals. Can we include Mr. Sonda. That's it. So just one more, Mr. Tony. You add Mr. Tony. Only one more. So you're three. No. The lady asked the question. So, I've already done a deal here. Hang on. Please go back to it. All I've done is to say we include him while the order is followed. After all, it's ladies first. Evening. You got the name? Sir, I think the microphone, we can't hear you properly.
My name is Alan.
Okay.
Well, I'm very talking about in family ancestry. But one thing that I have learned to do is doesn't help the government. Then that people who try to go young involved in the and all that is going to my face. And I want to ask you this. The Zambian is not only about standing behind you. Zambian also has happened. Today I welcome to me. A girl who was supposed to present Zambia, couldn't go to Ghana because she had kids. Those are the things that she needs to work on. Because the Zambian thing, but let us investment that will push the Ministry of Tourism to make sure that it's high risk to hear people on the street waiting Zambia. Meaning that on the tourism sector. Some people have named the modern industry as a substitution because they don't even find what it is. And it's not about we only help us keep the government and train and try to support the industry. Remember to understand exactly what it is. There's also the issue. Our musicians have no talent in Zambia. They go outside to live at but the foreign musicians come back to Zambia. They take more than our local musicians. And that's the reason why they always fall on low fees. Because being a musician is a career. And every music or every musician can do. But in Zambia, you can't do that. Being a modern music is something that's but Zambia has never, ever given anything. So my question, so I am not asking, I am requesting, can the government pay attention to tourism sector? The Zambians also show their talent. Thank you.
Thank you very much. First of all, my name is Dr. Shiva. I'm talking about Indonesian land here. I traveled to Japan and I see that here. My question, in the interest of time, I just like to say, really touched on healthcare, which is very good. And the fact that COVID-19 is that we shouldn't forget about maternal mortality rate and mortality rate and also other new and non-communicable diseases that are facing our country. The numbers are going up. And I feel that after the diaspora phase is launched, we've got a global alliance which I know found in the past of the president. We have donated to people with dedicated organic capacity Also, there's another organization I want to talk about, ACI, African Diaspora Development Institute. This, Mr. President, is a group of diaspora from all African countries, from all African descent. And with everything going on in the United States, with, the George Floyd issues, Black Lives Matter, I can attest to the fact that African Americans, other immigrants, are looking to going back to Africa. But the problem is they don't know where to go. And I feel that countries like Ghana and China are doing a good job of advertising. Probably, I don't go on to others' point. I would love to see Zambia become one of the two port destinations so that we can bring all those investments into Africa and build Africa together. So I'd like to speak to find out if you have any direct response and the depth that we can directly engage. Thank you, Mr. President. Consulting.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Welcome. And I will not, I'm sorry, I'll make a little, but I won't miss my word. As the chairperson of the United States, of the United States and Canada, the group that has been raised for the campaign, the group that has done, and this is and like I said, I'm grateful because we don't have to know what else to do. This is a Zoom meeting and they are watching. Most of my members probably will be happy to one of them because they send me to say so. We are being ignored. Even though this program before it took off from Zambia, we've been lobbying. I am like the headman. I'm the chairperson of the United States of America. Where you are present. How long is it that we can get out of this program? The antagonizer that was antagonizer is very frustrating. I'm sorry to say that. Having said that, I'll ask the members of the community to not already have time for that. We acknowledge your leadership. We feel that within the month of taking over, the country has turned around. You just say the word and the cattle disappear. Before you were even inaugurated, the markets were closed. We as a region in North America feel that more is to come, and we look forward to your leadership. We will work out. We are looking at 2026 campaign. We are the base, and we are involved with the president, and we can rest assured that frustration or no frustration. We have waited for years for this to happen. Our podcast, everything is. Who knew we were going to be in government? We are in government, and we will be out of 2020. Thank you so very much. To the president of the Republic of Zambia, Before I make one from the president to engage, I think it's only right that allow the leaders to understand to respond to some of the questions which South Korea raised, and then the president
Mr. President, just to point that one of the key issues that we don't have to come out with engagement our political path is that they've been calling for a direct link between the diaspora and government. In response to Mr. President, I want to mention that the ministry already has a dedicated team for the diaspora. And to the best of my knowledge, that team is already dedicated each mission. What we need to do, however, is to check the robustness of its functionality, because there is a lot of staff already that we are doing. And I'll be directing my director in the village that people, at least by the time we get home next week, one of the key performance indicators that is now set in motion as part of our reform is to ensure that each ministry's performance is graded by each engagement with Zambians in the diaspora. That is the performance indicator, therefore to assure that we will need to see a lot of these reforms to ensure that there is efficient in how the government is headed. That's one of the thank you very much. I'm going to leave for further questions. For an input of the President to hold by way of closing remarks, I will please make way for the President of Government Association, Zambians, Ms. Macedon, and this is brief and quick so that the President can close our session.
Thank you. My name is Macedon, and I'm the President of the Association of Zambians in Zambia, and I'm also the Vice President for the Zambian Association in the United States. I just wanted to thank everyone for being here and to thank the President and congratulate him for the landslide victory. We really thank God for having a leader like you. You're ready to start that flag higher than the way it was. And we are really looking forward to working with you. And thank you so much for religiously and patiently answering our questions. We thank you for your leadership. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, colleagues. Alice, tourism is very important. We actually didn't come here tonight, just to put things in context, we didn't come here tonight to display a menu of the opportunities in every sector. We try to cover certain generic issues arising from your question, but I'm sure if you've been following our presentation while we've been in this Washington, D.C., we've been outlining the sectors. Tourism is integral. We haven't even said much on agriculture, what our plan is, value addition, supply Congo with the food that they need. And we have said things, for example, that under our leadership, our new team, we don't want to hear anyone calling Congolese a smuggler. We don't want. We don't want. We want to call them customers. We want to call them customers. And if they've not been trading properly, we'll work with them so that they will trade properly with us. But they're customers. We need their customers. We need their money. So we give them what they want, melody, and other things. Tourism, madam, is very important. I agree with you. If there's a sector that will outlast copper, it's tourism, because it's non-extractive. It's non-extractive. It can also be done in a more green economy friendly. So we agree with you. It was not to demean it. No, absolutely not. I know personally, my own experience, how important tourism is. I'm sure you know. To date, we have the biggest investment in tourism, single investment. And it took me 4 years to put it together. And we needed 33 licenses to get the first custom. 33 licenses. That's why you heard me talk about cutting the bureaucracy licenses. 33. Every time you go to a license officer, no, it's going to a funeral. No, there's a wedding. No, there's what? Tourism is crucial. It's a big employer. It's an employer of rural communities, mainly because of its location. So we know what you're saying. We agree with you. No need to debate the issue. We agree with you. We know. We understand. Minister of Finance and I were chatting that we are going to be dramatic in that industry. What are we going to do, for example? We want to remove small things that have been overhangs on the sector. For example, there are nuisances. Again, read the speech to Parliament. Because one PF guy was giggling there, trying to challenge what I was saying. What do you mean? So anyway, we have nuances such as we are still seen as a yellow fever country. Zambia. We're not yet out of that list. You know that in certain markets, if you are tagged as yellow fever country, no one will come. So we are going to remove all those issues. Because we really don't have yellow fever. I mean, doctors are here. I don't think that's an issue, but nobody did the work that needed to be done. Very little work to follow the steps so our country's name is removed from that categorization. We will do a methodical piece of work. It's a sector I know very well personally. I'm in it. I've been in it. When people didn't believe in it, we made the business work in that sector until COVID came. Some of you go to that business, I'm sure, but you're not conscious that we worked on it. We have a lot of potential there. What else we want to do? We were discussing. In fact, first cabinet meeting, we touched a few. Cabinet is confidential, yes, but on the aspect I'm wanting to raise, we touched on it. We said, we will be ruthless because in the past, departments will argue that they needed a visa fee. My argument is that you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You don't have to be a master's order in business to know that. The revenue you get from visa fees is so tiny compared to the revenues you get if you remove the visa fee or remove the visa completely. Tourist visa. That debate will go on. May I provoke my colleagues on cabinet? And I'm extremely clear in there because I know we've done the numbers already. If we remove the rigidity of the visa, for example, madam, occupancies will go up. When occupancies go up in that sector, revenue comes from rooms, comes from the restaurant, comes from the bar, comes from the laundry. Fifth, outdoor activities. That's where the revenues come from that sector, by and large. Outdoor meaning bungee jumping and, the wildlife visitations. But these are only possible and significant revenue will come out of them when you increase the volumes, the traffic, the bed nights, we call it. So there are small things keeping tourists away. Now, let me touch on what you said. The destination is the best we have in the region. Let's call them the destinations, but destination is a country with circuits. Victoria Falls. Some people still think Victoria Falls means South Africa. It's not a joke. It's serious. We're in the industry, we know. And a customer comes and says, but the South African told me that if you wanted to go to Victoria Falls, come to South Africa. So we're not marketing, I agree with you 100%. We're going to work on that. Checklist, 4 or 5 things we're going to do. We already know. We already know things that we need to do, by and large, to make a step change and then a contribution to the economy through that sector. It's a wonderful, large employer. Northern Circuit, Cassava Bay. Minister of Foreign Affairs was saying, those who campaigned with me get so bored because I keep on talking about the potential, what we can do here, what we can do there. In Cassava Bay, an airstrip that was left by Kaunda, Super Ken, may he so rest in peace, is not complete up to now. I think the MMD tried to work on it, but it's not complete. Those are the small things that we need to complete and get the sector working properly. Let's come to the issue. Once we get the tourism sector working properly, infrastructure reasonably there, clean water supply. You heard me talk about clean water supply? No international tourists will go to a place where they're not sure whether they can take a shower and the water is full of other things. Basic things. It's called a product. Tourism is a product. It's not a hotel, it's a product. There are auxiliary things. So we understand that. So we'll be working on those issues. Madam. When you have this activity in these places, Livingstone, Northern Circuit, Cassava Bay, Luangwa, other places, then it becomes easier to do the things that you know best. To tie to, the beautiful side of humanity. The beautiful side of humanity. I agree with you. Music, artists. We need to make sure our young people, ladies, men are given support to exploit their talent for their own good income levels, but also to earn money for the country. So you will see some activity in there, madam. You'll be pleased about those activities. But we want you to be part of the conversation. What do you want your government to do? Remember I said we do a checklist? I said the leaders, Ramson, to build a checklist of things that you want done. Don't work in isolation. Work with your other colleagues in different parts. A lady like her, she knows what she knows more than all of us in that area. Let her provide her inputs. Then we develop one checklist. I'm serious about it. I'm not driven by working hours myself. I've been working for myself from the age of 26. I don't know what the salary means from that age. All I know is that if we agree an action plan, challenges, opportunities, what are the solutions? Number 2, color. Number 3, who should implement these solutions? Number 4, when? Number 5, status. That's it. As I said, next time we meet, this will be a template to be used. So, mutitandi is a So thank you, madam. Thank you very much. So you can take a seat, sir. Thank you very much, madam. Can we work in a collaborative way? If there are things you want us to do, for example, look at what Nigerians have done to their artists, with their artists. Look what they've done. Look the incomes they earn now. Earlier I told you that this government will will not be competitive in mind to you. We will be complementary, we will be supportive. And guys like us, you see a guy like me, you think I'll be jealous of the money you make? No, but we have got people in government who are jealous of what Zambians will make if they give them an opportunity. And small little issues like that became an issue. We want you to make more money, more and more money. If we have to spend a little, even if it's taxpayers' money, to make you earn more money, we shall do it. That's our commitment, because we know the outcome. How was Bollywood born? How was Nollywood born? It is this discussion. So you have our support. Let's work together. Let's be definitive. Let's talk generic discussions. I don't like generic discussions at sometimes. Let's talk specifics. What have you seen which your government wasn't doing, which it can do? We are going to do them. As long as they are doable, it's practical, we shall do them to support you. Thank you. Need to support health. My brother, Dr. Gazit, you and I have spoken a lot off this platform. Waiting. We've spoken a lot. We don't have to regurgitate what we've been speaking. Right? We've spoken a lot. We've agreed what needs to be done. Let's do it. One time I was on Zoom with you, isn't it? We spoke a lot. We spoke. Exactly. No, but we said the health service delivery. Remember I said earlier on that COVID has brought something which was not there before. No one can fly all over now to seek medical treatment. We have to make our health service sector better. Didn't I say so? So help us. I know you're a specialist in that area. Even that day we had a conversation. We asked you to help us. Just do a checklist again. And I think you have, like the COVID advisor, you know him, I guess. You know Dr. Chilang. Work with him. Every Zambian should work for this administration. This administration should work for every Zambian. Right? Did you hear me? Every Zambian must work for this administration. This administration must work for every Zambian. So all of us, you know, I like expressive ways. You for me and me for me. I'm serious. So you for me, me for you. You for us, we for you. We together for the people's Zambia. As simple as that. The rest is detail. So we agree with you. We can't go on to say we'll do more clinics here and there. That's mandate, isn't it? We'll put water in every clinic. That's mandate. We'll put a solar pump in every clinic. That's mandate. We'll get linen. That's mandate. We'll get beds. Have you been to UTH of late? Who has been home of late? Go to UTH. If you were there, go to UTH. You'll cry. We should work together. Even just to clean up UTH. Honestly. The next time you go there, you'll find a clean UTH. But a clean UTH without equipment, without PPEs, without oxygen, without the basics, is not good enough. So I think let's work together. That will be my request to all of you, different specialisms that you have. We're a lucky country. But what was missing was the leadership. Leadership is here. Leadership is now here. Let us do it for our people, for ourselves, for the generations to come. I think that would be my sort of closing remark. I know, Sonda, what you said is obvious. I want to apologize that you felt left out. It doesn't hurt to apologize to colleagues. So we want to apologize. You know, now, I'm not the way I was before. Before, Sonda, I would speak to you that I'm coming there. Last time I came, we spoke. Now, I'm handled by people. Including you should handle me now. A good thing goes. So on a more serious note, we apologize for that mix-up. I also want to be fair to the ambassador that we are in people's jurisdiction here. There are COVID rules. Even this meeting is, look at how you're seated. It's too close to each other. You see now. She's even leaning on her face. We are in people's territory. I think there were guidelines being given, but to be fair to him, he's a diplomat. He's following the host country's guidance, but also his own obligation to protect us all, you and us, you, isn't it? So if it was a normal environment, I think it would have been different. But so there were some restrictions inherent in because of the pandemic environment. So I think we can excuse each other. But the apologies are necessary. In the end, we had to, honestly, I said to the ambassador that I will meet the Zambians. I will meet them. And we've met. But you know we've met with you. Others are still unhappy because they are outside. So calm them down when you go outside. That the intent was clear. We love them. We're here for them. But it's circumstantial. Please don't throw stones at him. He's already overburdened by so many things. Right? So I want to say, Madam Kasere, thank you for your words. That's correct, that's your name? Madam Kaimu, thank you for your words, positive words. Thank you to all of you. Freedom is here. It's a new dawn. It's time to actualize the opportunities. But that comes with obligations to each one of us. To be part of the solution, not to perpetuate problems. Let us be part of the solution. We know so many things were not done properly. If I can say to those who put me away 15 times, and I'm looking at them in the face, I now have the opportunity, if I was like them, to put them in. But I will never do that. I occupy a higher ground, a higher moral ground. We are here to reunite this country, which was divided for years and years. It became impossible for certain citizens with certain names to be ambassadors in Washington. It became impossible. That's the fact. I talk about it with ease because I want us to heal. It became impossible for certain Zambians born in certain regions to be permanent secretaries, to be ministers. The last cabinet was populated by one region. It's a fact. Now, how can we come in? Hear me. how can we come in as UPND? Because we were hit, then we say, let's injure others. Where will this thing end? So relax. A lot of you are throwing a lot of harsh words on social media. Relax. Calm down. If we walk that road, this thing will never end. There will be no healing. And if people are hurt, you can't invite them to the development table because their minds are already polluted. Please relax. Please provide leadership to colleagues at home to relax. We know what we're doing. Where you think we're wrong, guide us. This is your government. It's not our government. It's your government. You produced it. You delivered it. Make no mistake, those who took what belongs to the people, they have to bring it back. Give to Caesar what is Caesar. That was not me who said it, it's Jesus. But remember, some of us were injured when we were innocent. So we're not going to injure innocent people. Is injury our intention? No, our intention is just to bring equilibrium, for lack of a better word. So I am saying so, Anton Warrior, to deliver a message to my colleagues here, that let's conquer hate with love.
Yes.
But let's be professional. Tomorrow, one of you, some of you, may occupy the offices that are occupied by others. You want them to treat you well, isn't it? So you should treat those who are in the offices well. Be patient. Just be patient. We aren't even 30 days in office. But it feels like we've been in office for 6 months. There's a lot to do. After 6 months, you will be impressed yourselves how we fused in changes without even you feeling it. It's the way we work. That's how we manage things. It was very difficult to run politics these years because it was really a savagery environment. Drove more women out of politics. We have less women in parliament now because of the savagery behavior that was there. We want to normalize things so that there will be more women. And that's why we're utilizing the appointments. You have a vice president who is a woman, credible woman. You have a first speaker of the National Assembly who is a woman. You have the first deputy speaker of the National Assembly who is a woman. You have a whip, deputy whip who is a woman. As we move to the next stage of appointments, you will see a lot more women. Because not many made it into parliament. And because cabinet comes from parliament. It's a challenge that we must resolve, Zambians must resolve. If you ask me my personal opinion, cabinet must come from outside. That's my own opinion. But it has to be shared with many more to make that decision constitutional. Now we are stuck. So bear with us, guide us, but you should retain your confidence that the fish ego is watching. Yes. fish eagle is watching, even how the fish is moving under the water, the fish eagle is watching. We will protect your assets. We will grow your assets. We will make more opportunities available for you and others. As long as you're a citizen of Zambia, you're a resident of Zambia. It will take a bit of time, certain things, because of the damage being colossal, but it will happen. It will happen. Master of Ceremony, Director of Ceremony, I think the night could end at this point. Thank you very much.
General clarification. The agenda on behalf of Mr. President, Member for Finance, Minister for Foreign Affairs and Residency, would like to thank you very much for being here. We should thank you for the initiative and thank you for the support that you gave us before this and after the convention. Thank you very much for being here. In our outstanding position,